All right, next slide, please. So before handing things over to the licensing team, I'll walk through our agenda. We will start off today's session by providing some background on what the Division of Early Learning Licensing Tool, also known as DELLT, is. We'll then cover how to access staff records in DELLT, how to create a new staff record, how to update an existing staff record, and how to remove staff records of individuals who are no longer employed at the facility. After that, we will share a few important reminders before having time for Q&A. I'll pause here to note that we are aware that many attendees may have questions related to the Early Childhood Educator Pay Equity Fund. We will not be answering questions related to award calculations during today's call. If your facility is participating in the Early Childhood Educator Pay Equity Fund and you have questions related to your Q1 payment, please contact the Pay Equity Fund team, and we'll include an email address for that in the chat. And with that, I will pass things over to Tommy Totten, Licensing and Quality Program Manager. Tommy?
Thank you, Julia. And hello to everyone joining today's information session. I am Tommy Totten, and I am the Licensing and Quality Program Manager for the Licensing and Compliance Unit, and I'll be sharing information about the Division of Early Learning Licensing Tool, also known as DELLT, with you today. Next slide, please. What is DELLT? Next slide. Before getting to the DELLT and how to use DELLT, I'd like to give a little background on it for those who may be less familiar with the system. DELLT was created by OSSI to serve as a comprehensive licensing system for all licensed child care providers, staff, and facility data. Child care licensing regulations require all child care providers to maintain accurate information in DELLT, including up-to-date staff records for all employees. Maintaining accurate staff records in DELLT is important for facilities to stay in compliance with the licensing regulations. For facilities that participate in the Early Childhood Educator Pay Equity Fund, staff record information is used to calculate the facility's quarterly award payment. Next slide, please. Now we'll move on to accessing staff records in DELLT. Next slide. Log into the facility profile in DELLT. To log into the facility profile in DELLT, use the login link from QuickBase provided when granted access for the first time. Click on the login link received from QuickBase and you will be prompted with a question. Do you have an Octo corporate user name and password? Click No as you see here on the screen. After clicking on No, you will be prompted to the screen to enter the email address and username and password used when granted access to the system. Next slide, please. On this screen, you will enter the email address or username and password used when you initially registered. Once you've entered this information, click Sign In. Next screen, please. Upon clicking Sign In, appearing will be the facility profile page. On this page, you will see multiple tabs. Click the Staff tab to display the list of staff for your facility. Next slide, please. Once the list of staff is displayed, you will see all staff listed in DELLT for your facility. Remember, staff records must be individually reviewed and or updated. Remember to review the staff name. Check the spelling of the staff name. All names listed on the individual's official ID must be entered in DELLT. Ensure that the spelling matches what appears on the individual's official ID. Also, you will review the staff type. The staff type should match information submitted by the facility on the OSSI hiring form. Also remember that supporting documentation for qualifications and/or credentials must support the staff type in the DELLT record. When reviewing the status, if the status says request to resubmit, upload supporting documentation, remember to reference the staff qualification checklist for a list of all the required staff documentation that must be uploaded to a staff record. And we will post that link to the checklist in the chat. If the status is blank, upload the education credentials for all staff. If the status is created by facility, please email ossi.childcarelicensing@dc.gov indicating a new record for staff has been created. Please include in the email the full name of staff as it appears in DELLT, the staff's record number, facility name as it appears on the license, and the facility license number. I will now hand things over to my colleague, Kiana Nelson, who will share information on how to create a new staff record, how to update an existing staff record, and how to remove staff records of individuals who are no longer employed at the facility.
Thank you, Tommy, and hello, everyone. I am Kiana Nelson, and I am a management analyst in the Licensing and Compliance Unit. Today, I'll walk you through a few key functions in DELLT. First, let's address how to create a new staff record. Next slide, please. Thank you. Go to the Staff tab and click Add Staff. To create a new staff record, go to the Staff tab and click Add Staff. Complete all fields accurately to avoid delay in approval of staff record. Note, fields with a red asterisk are required to be completed. Next slide, please. Add staff information and select qualification. Enter the staff's name as it appears on the individual's official ID. All names listed on the individual's official ID must be entered in DELLT. Check spelling of staff name. The spelling should match what appears on the individual's official ID. Select the staff type from the drop-down menu. The staff type should match the information on the OSSI hiring form that will be uploaded by the facility. Supporting documentation for qualifications, credentials must support staff type selected in DELLT. Enter the last 4 digits of the staff's Social Security number in the last Social Security number field, or enter the last 4 digits of the individual tax identification number, ITIN, in the ITIN field. Ensure the number is entered correctly as it appears on the SSN or ITIN card. Enter the staff's date of birth. The date should match what appears on the individual's official ID. Select the staff's COVID-19 vaccination status from the drop-down menu. Select fully vaccinated, medical exemption, or religious exemption. Confirm all entered information is correct in all fields. Next slide, please. Upload supporting documentation for staff. Scroll to the attachment section to upload supporting documents. Refer to the staff qualification checklist for a list of all the required staff documentation that must be uploaded to a staff record. Staff qualification checklist, the link is attached. Staff qualification checklist, the link is attached in all 3 languages. Upload supporting documents to attach upload supporting documents to attachment field that corresponds to the field name. For example, the Corona COVID-19 vaccination card or exemption letter approved by facility, must be uploaded to the COVID vaccination document field of the attachment section. The signed and dated staff qualification checklist and the documents listed must be uploaded in facility qualification form with supporting documents field of attachments. For example, proof of educational qualifications. Example, diploma, certificate, transcript must be uploaded in the educational qualifications field of the attachment section. Review all documents in each field under the attachment section to ensure supporting documents are complete, accurate, and uploaded under the correct field. Remember to save each staff record after updating before proceeding to update additional staff records. Supporting documentation should be clear. Example, document is legible and not blurry. All supporting documentation must be uploaded to the staff record before it can be approved. Next slide, please. Complete qualification section for individuals with staff type of teacher. Scroll to the teacher's qualification section. The facility must select the appropriate education credentials and which the staff has obtained under this section. Proof and supporting documentation for the selected qualification, example degrees, diplomas, certificates, transcripts, must be uploaded in the educational qualifications field under the attachment section. Supporting documentation should be clear. Example, documents must be legible and not blurry. Next slide, please. Complete compensation section, including staff email address and home address. Enter salary type, example, annually or hourly. Under health benefits, select yes if they are provided by the provider, otherwise select no. Enter email and home address. Next slide, please. Review staff records for accuracy. Confirm all entered information is correct in all fields. Check spelling of staff name. All names listed on the individual's official ID must be entered into DELLT. Spelling should match what appears on the individual's official ID. Check staff type. The staff type should match information submitted by the facility on the OSCE hiring form. Supporting documentation for qualifications, credentials must support staff type and record. Check Social Security number or individual taxpayer identification number. Ensure the number is entered correctly and upload supporting documentation. Check date of birth. Date should match what appears on the individual's official ID. Confirm supporting documents are attached in the correct fields. For example, proof of educational credentials, example diploma, certificate, or transcripts must be uploaded in the educational qualifications field of the attachment section. Next slide, please. Updating existing staff records. You must update staff records individually to include the correct staff type. Staff mobile phone numbers, staff email addresses, staff home addresses, and staff social security number must all be correct. Go to the staff tab and click the pencil icon to edit an existing record. Go to the staff tab and select the staff record of the individual you wish to update. click the pencil icon beside the employees. Next slide, please. Edit staff general information. Review all staff information to ensure it is correct. Add or edit staff general information. Note, fields with a red asterisk are required to be completed. Do not edit the teacher qualification field if the staff record has already been approved. Email your licensing specialist to request a change. All other fields can be edited. Next slide, please. Update compensation, including the staff email address and home address. Review staff salary type, email address, and home address for accuracy. Update and make changes needed. Review and ensure accuracy of updates and changes made. Click Save and Close. Next slide, please. Update missing additional supporting documents for staff. Review all documents in each field under the attachment section to ensure supporting documents are complete, accurate, and uploaded under the correct field. Upload any missing, additional, or updating supporting documents. The coronavirus COVID-19 vaccination card or exemption letter approved by facility must be uploaded to the COVID vaccination document field of the attachment section. The signed and dated staff qualification checklist and the documents listed must be uploaded in facility qualification form with supporting documents field of attachments. For example, proof of educational credentials must be uploaded in the educational qualifications field of the attachment section. Save each staff record after updating before proceeding to update additional staff records. Next slide, please. Review staff records for accuracy. So again, confirm all entered information is correct in all fields. Check spelling of staff name. All names listed on the individual's official ID must be entered in DELLT. Spelling should match what appears on the individual's official ID. To check staff type. Staff type should match information submitted on the facility on the OSCE hiring form. Supporting documentation for qualifications. Credentials must support staff type and record. Social Security number or ITIN. Ensure the number is entered correctly and upload supporting documentation. Check date of birth. Date should match what appears on individual's official ID. Confirm supporting documents are attached in the correct fields. For example, proof of education qualification must be uploaded in the education qualifications field of the attachments section. Next slide. Removing staff records or of individuals no longer employed at the facility. Next slide, please. Go to the staff tab and select the staff record of the individual who is no longer employed. Then you're going to click the pencil icon next to the employee who is no longer employed. Next slide, please. Scroll to the compensation section and upload OSCE separation form and click Save and Close. You're going to scroll to the compensation section. Click the box to include the staff that is no longer employed at the facility. Then you will enter the separation date and upload the OSCE separation form. The child care employee hiring promotion separating notification is embedded as well. I will now ensure that the separation date, month, date, and year is written on the form prior to uploading the form in DELLT. I will now hand things back over to my colleague, Tommy Totten, who will share additional information on staff accuracy and important reminders.
Next slide, please. Thank you, Kiana. Remember to review your staff records for accuracy. Confirm staff no longer works here, box is checked. Confirmed accurate separation date has been entered. And also ensure the OSSI separation form is uploaded to the separation document section. Next slide, please. Here are some important reminders. Please tell us what language you attended today's session in. Please respond to the Zoom poll on the screen. All right, you should be wrapping up right about now. Let's move to the next slide, please. Important reminders. Again, complete all fields accurately to avoid delay in approval of staff records. Remember that supporting documentation should be clear, meaning that the document is legible and not blurry. Please refer to the staff qualification list, checklist for a list of all the required staff documentation that must be uploaded to a staff record. We've placed this link of the checklist in the chat. Okay. Remember all supporting documentation. If you could please click on the X in the box. Okay, let's see, there you go. My apologies. Technical difficulties. Remember, all supporting documentation must be uploaded to the staff record before it can be approved. Review the status assigned to all staff and promptly upload the supporting documentation for staff with requests to resubmit status. Upload education credentials for all staff with a status field that is blank. Email your assigned license specialist if you want to do the following: change an employee staff type, for example, meaning changing an assistant teacher to a teacher, or if you need to update an employee's qualifications, please also email your assigned license specialist. Note, you must upload the employee's education credentials in the specific staff's page for the change to be approved.
All righty, thank you. Oh, go ahead, Tommy. All right, thank you, Tommy and Kiana, for walking us through those functions in DELLT. We're now going to move into the Q&A portion of today's call. Of note, we will use our time to focus on questions about how to use the Division of Early Learning licensing tool. As we mentioned at the top of the call, if you have questions related to the Pay Equity Fund, please email ossi.ecepayequity@dc.gov. So with that, I will roll into our first question. So Tommy and Kiana, how do we confirm that what we see is what my licensing specialist sees in DELLT? So I'm guessing this is about if they've uploaded documents or changes have been made. What's the best way they can confirm that those uploads or changes can be seen by their licensing specialist?
for a staff record, I would email my licensing specialist to confirm that they have received all the uploaded documents.
Thank you, Kiana. Our next question, what documents do you need to upload in the professional development section?
So for the professional development, during the time that you are uploading a new staff or editing an existing staff, you do not need to upload any information in the professional development field.
Thank you. I see a question here about someone who's having trouble accessing DELT. What should people do if they have trouble accessing DELT? And in this particular case, they've already reached out to a licensing specialist, but they're still waiting for it to be fixed.
So if you do not have access to DELT and you've already contacted your licensing specialist, my advice is to follow up with your licensing specialist to ensure that they are aware that you still do not have access.
All right, let's see. Our next question is about social security numbers. So, and I guess this would apply to an individual taxpayer identification number as well. Are they supposed to upload the number only, or do they need to include a picture of the actual card?
You will need to upload a picture of the actual card or letter.
Okay. Let's see, our next question. The salary and benefit sections do not have a red asterisk. Do we still need to complete this information?
Yes, you do.
Alrighty, we have someone asking what approved means. So I'm guessing that this is in terms of that status field that we have in DELT. So what does approved mean?
So approved is for all records that were created by the facility and were reviewed and approved by the licensing specialist. Approved also means that existing legacy record, one staff record that was not created by the licensing specialist. However, the provider has uploaded the additional education credentials in DELT, then that status will also be changed to approved.
All right, our next question is about uploading documents. So do attachments need to be uploaded as a PDF, or can it be uploaded as a Word document?
Yes, attachments should be uploaded as a PDF, so that way they're not modified.
Got it. All right, so uploads as PDFs, everyone. Let's see, our next question is from someone who says, the system will not let us change the staff type. How can we change it?
As a reminder, you should not change the staff type. If the staff type is incorrect, you should email your licensing specialist and advise them that you are promoting that teacher or changing the staff type, and they will provide you with the additional documentation needed in order to make that change.
Let's see, our next question. Are we required to enter staff records in other tabs in DELT, such as monitoring or facility documents?
Staff records should be maintained in the staff tab. However, you could be in the middle of an inspection and that licensing specialist has required you to upload additional information in that inspection tab that they're currently conducting with you.
Thank you. Another question, and this is about the staff documentation checklist. It says, is the new staff documentation checklist supposed to be used for volunteers, substitutes, and or teachers' aides?
The checklist is for all staff, volunteers, substitutes, and teacher aides. If you have a question of what is required that is listed on the staff checklist, please contact your licensing specialist and they will advise you as to what information is required that is listed on the staff checklist.
Let's see. Another question. Can you please share again the email address that should be contacted when a center adds a new staff member?
That link is aussie.childcarelicensing@dc.gov.
Let's see. Another question. Which field are we supposed to upload staff social security card?
Please upload that in the staff record. Field is qualification, facility qualification supporting documents field.
Someone is asking, what is the timeline between uploading documentation and approval by the licensing specialist?
There's no set time. What I would advise everyone to do is, again, once you upload any documentation, please email your licensing specialist to inform them that you have uploaded additional documentation. And you can also email the Aussie Child Care Licensing at dc.gov as well.
Thank you. Let's see, another question about volunteers. So do volunteers need to be included in DELT? Do we need staff records for volunteers?
Yes.
And now a question about pay. Are we required to list staff pay or just if they are hourly or salaried?
You're required to list all information.
And I would flag if you're a facility that's participating in the pay equity fund, that information is also required as part of that. Let's see. What is the best way to contact your licensing specialists? Is it through DELT or email?
I would use both methods. I would send a message through DELT and I would also send a message via email. The messages in DELT is good in case your licensing specialist may be out on leave. Additional license specialists or the program manager will also have access to the message in DELT versus if you only send it via email, the program manager will not have access to the message that was sent.
Here's a question about the staff checklist. So it says, do you have to upload everything on the checklist if a person is being added to another center that's working full-time at one and part-time at another?
So if they are working at different facilities, yes, you would need to upload all the documentation for both facilities. Again, the licensing specialist, once they get the notification that you have created a new staff record, they will contact you and they will discuss the staff record working at multiple facilities. But for on your end, yes, you would need to upload all documentation for each staff record that you create.
Another question about the checklist. Do you need to upload the checklist itself with all the documentation that you're uploading? And if so, where does it go in DELT?
Yes, the checklist must be signed and dated and uploaded in the facility qualification supporting documentation field.
Let's see, our next question. What is a reasonable expected response time from a licensing specialist? For example, 24 hours, 48 hours?
Via email, you should expect a response from your licensed specialist within 24 to 48 hours. At that time, they might not have had the chance to review uploaded documentation, but should be able to respond to you via email that they received your email.
Our next one, this isn't exactly a question. It says, I have added a new staff, uploaded all documentation, received confirmation that documentation was received, but it still says the record is not approved. Kind of, would that be because the licensing specialist hasn't reviewed the record yet?
Yes, so until the licensed specialist has reviewed the record and all documentation has been uploaded by the provider, the record will not be switched to approved.
All right, our next question is about credentials. So it says, do we include all of the staff's credentials or just the highest degree or credential obtained? For example, if someone has an associate's degree in early childhood education and a CDA, do you include both of those in the staff record, or do you just include the associate's degree because that one's higher?
The education that you should upload should match the staff type. And I would include all credentials that go along with that staff type. So for example, if you're a teacher and you have a master's in early childhood education, include that. And let's say you also have a current CDA, also include that. That way, all documentation is uploaded for the educational credentials that that staff person has.
Let's see, and a question about if people are having technical issues. So if you're having a technical issue logging into DELLT or maybe uploading something in DELLT, who should they contact?
They should contact or send an email to aussie.childcarelicensing@dc.gov.
Thank you, Tommy. I think we already addressed this question, but I think it's good to ask again. How can we make changes to staff type?
You should not make changes to staff type. If you would like to change the staff type, you should contact your licensing specialist and email them the additional information that is required to change the staff type. If you are unsure what is required, please reach out to your licensing specialist, and inform them that you would like to update the staff type. They will contact you with with a list of information that is needed to make that change.
Let's see, we have a question about uploads. Is there a limit on how many uploads per tab are allowed?
No.
All right. Another question. This is about Social Security card documentations. This person is saying, what if a staff member has lost their Social Security card?
They would need to apply for a replacement Social Security card.
And then after that, they would share that in the upload in DELLT.
Yes.
Let's see. I see a question here related to salaries or hourly pay in DELLT as it relates to the pay equity fund. It should be the current pay that the person is receiving that is documented in DELLT. Sorry, we're going through the questions here. I see some folks asking about the recording from today's session. Yes, recordings from today's session, as well as the one that we will hold tomorrow, will be shared in the coming week. It will be shared in advance of January 31st, which is the deadline for updating staff records in DELT if you are participating in Q2 of the Pay Equity Fund. I will also remind folks that the slides from today's session are available. We link those in the chat throughout the call. We have someone asking, how do you sign into the Division of Early Learning Licensing tool?
Yes, to log into the Division of Early Learning Licensing tool, also known as DELT, you want to make sure that you use the login that was sent via QuickBase at the time of initially registering. Please check your email box for the email that you used in regard to registering for that account.
We have a question about the process for having transcripts reviewed and then approved to match the teacher staff type reflected in DELT. Tommy or Kiana, can you explain a little bit about how that works?
Yes, if you have a transcript that is not in early childhood education or a related field, you can send your transcript to the ECE help desk and ask for your transcript to be evaluated for approval for what qualification you're looking for. For example, if you're trying to get a staff person qualified for a teacher, you would put that information in an email, attach a copy of the transcript. Also CC your licensing specialist on that email. Once your transcript has been evaluated, they will contact you back via email, and then you can again notify your licensing specialist and make sure that that documentation has been uploaded in DELT.
Let's see, another question. Does DELT notify our licensing specialists when documentation is uploaded?
No, so it's imperative that you notify your licensing specialist once you have uploaded documentation.
Let's see, our next question. Someone is asking, how often should we update staff records in DELT?
You would need to update them as needed. So anytime that, as you're reviewing your staff record, anytime you need to make a change, you would then update the staff record and notify your licensing specialist.
Let's see, I don't think this is related to staff records, but it's about DELT. Where do we upload the facility's OSSI's safe evacuation site forms?
So that document is uploaded in the facility tab. There's a section called Safe Site Evacuation.
Let's see, I've seen this question a few times in the chat now. It's about the checklist. Do we need to upload the checklist for existing employees, or do you just need to do the new staff checklist for new employees?
New employees. If your staff has already been approved, then for new entered staff, you would need to upload the checklist.
Let's see, our next question. Do staff have to be approved in DELT before they can start working at the facility?
No, you will just need to create a staff record and upload all required documents prior to the staff working.
Let's see, another question. Do we need to upload letters of reference for new hires only and also for old staff that have been working in the facility?
Letters of reference should be uploaded along with the staff checklist for new staff.
Let's see, there's another question about response time from licensing specialists. Is there another email we should reach out to if our licensing specialist doesn't reply within 48 hours, or is it recommended to wait or maybe follow up with the licensing specialist after 48 hours?
Please follow up with a licensing specialist. Also, you may send an email to aussie.childcarelicensing@dc.gov.
Let's see, I see a question here. This is about pay equity fund, but I think we're able to address it here. Is the January 31st deadline for facilities to verify all staff records in DELT, or is it the deadline for licensing specialists to approve staff records? The answer is that is the deadline for facilities to review and update staff records. After January 31st, licensing specialists will review those updates and reach out to you if they have questions or require follow-up. Let's see, some more questions. Let's see, one question is, can you upload multiple separate documents in DELT, or do you need to upload in just one document in each field?
So you can upload multiple documents in one field. However, you must save after each upload. So if you upload one document in a field, you need to hit save, then go in to upload the second document in that same field.
Thank you. I will flag that I'm seeing a number of questions in the chat that are about the pay equity fund and not directly related to updates to staff records. For those pay equity fund questions, please email the aussie.ece payequity@dc.gov address. Someone is saying, if you put the last four numbers in the ITIN box, the system does not accept it unless those numbers are also placed in the Social Security box. Is that okay?
If you are encountering that, please email your licensing specialist and also email aussie.childcarelicensing@dc.gov.
Let's see. Someone is asking, where can we refer back to all this information shared regarding rules and expectation for Division of Early Learning System upkeep? Today's presentation is available online. I would encourage you to reference these slides as a guide. The licensing regulations also have information on upkeep of staff records. Let's see, we are reviewing. Let's see, someone is saying, I am not seeing the teacher qualification section for adding a new staff. Is it visible? It is visible for my existing staff, but not for adding a new staff.
When adding a new staff, you have to change the staff type to teacher before that will populate. And remember, you have to, if it is a new staff, again, once you change the staff type to teacher, then you will see teacher qualification. If it is an existing staff, remember, you're not to change the staff type. You would need to email your licensing specialist.
All right, I'm seeing a question here about waivers. If this is a question about waivers as it relates to the pay equity fund, please email the pay equity fund with that question. Someone is asking, is it possible for us to see the history of the forms that we have uploaded?
No, it is not possible for you to be able to see the history. However, your licensing specialist can. So if you have questions regarding whether or not a particular document was uploaded, please email your licensing specialist for them to check the history.
Let's see, we have some folks asking, is including the hourly pay rate acceptable to put in DELLT where it's asking the salary?
Yes.
Another question, and I think this would be from a facility or a provider who operates multiple facilities. Is it possible to transfer in DELLT a staff member who was working at one facility and has moved to another facility or campus that they also operate?
Yes, however, we make that transfer internal. So you would still be required to create a new staff record for the facility in which that staff is transferring. The licensed specialist will merge the record and notify you at the time the record is merged.
Another question, this person says, if staff don't feel comfortable providing their social security cards, can the results from the CFSA application and the field print fingerprinting suffice?
No, no, the staff or the provider will need to upload a copy of the staff's social security number or ITIN letter. That information is used to verify the information on the CFSA letter.
All right, I will encourage folks to continue to submit questions related to how to use DELLT. I am seeing questions about the Pay Equity Fund continuing to come in. Someone just said that they're having trouble with the aussie.childcare licensing at dc.gov email address. We will look further into that. Let's see, another question. Do volunteer substitutes or teachers' aides have education qualification standards? This is a question that is about the education requirements. So that is a question that I would encourage directing to the ECE help desk. I'm seeing some questions about minimum salaries as it relates to the Pay Equity Fund. Again, please either visit the Aussie website where we have information on the Pay Equity Fund or reach out to the Pay Equity Fund email address that is aussie.ecepayequity@dc.gov. Someone says, regarding transferring a staff from one center to another, we were told not to create a new staff record for staff because there would be duplicates. We have always requested our licensing specialist to make the transfer internally without creating a new record, which is correct.
Please create a new record at the facility that you are transferring that staff record to. The licensed specialist will contact you, and please notify your licensing specialist that you are transferring that staff. The licensed specialist on their end will merge the staff record and contact you once complete.
All right, we will give folks another minute or two to submit their questions related to how to use DELT before closing out. Someone is asking, is emailing aussie.childcarelicensing@dc.gov when a new staff member is hired a new requirement? I thought this was done directly in DELT. Is this email a new requirement?
Yes. Please email aussie.childcarelicensing@dc.gov when you are creating a new staff record.
A question about SID certification. So someone is asking, the facility qualification form requires the SIDS certification as one of the uploads. Are new staff required to take this training prior to employment since we have to upload docs within 24 hours?
This requirement is for staff that are working in the infant room. SIDS is required before they're able to work.
All righty. I think with that, we are going to move to closing out today's session. If we can move to our next and final slide, please. So thank you to everyone who has joined today's information session. For support updating staff records in DELT, please contact your assigned licensing specialist. Providers who are participating in the Early Childhood Educator Pay Equity Fund who have questions about staff records should email aussie.childcarelicensing@dc.gov. Thank you again for attending today's session. As we mentioned previously, a recording of this session will be shared via email with child development facility leaders in the coming days. As a reminder, we are also hosting a session tomorrow from 1:30 to 3 p.m. You are welcome to attend that session as well. It will be a repeat of today's session. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.